Good afternoon. Today, on this episode of Roundhouse Ranch Barbecue, I'm going to be showing you how to do beef ribs. I'm talking beef short ribs. The beef ribs that taste like a mixture of your favorite brisket and your favorite ribeye all combined together with a handle to hold it on to eat it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do those Roundhouse Ranch Barbecue style. Come along with me and I'll show you exactly how. Alright, for these beef ribs, I got just one small rack of beef ribs. You can see there's a lot of meat on there. Look right there, you can see there is a ton of meat on there. You got the ribs there. Now these ribs, they do have that membrane on the bottom side, on the bone side. On pork ribs, we take that off. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on these beef ribs. The reasoning for that is these ribs are going to be so soft and so tender and so buttery, just fall apart when they're done. We're going to need that membrane to hold that meat on those ribs. So we're going to go ahead and leave that on there. And all I'm doing with these ribs, because these beef ribs, you let the meat speak for itself, really. You don't add a whole lot of extra, just fancy stuff to it. The meat will do its own talking, I promise you. So what we're going to do, we're going to take just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Rub that all over your meat, just like that. This is going to be our binder. Again, I usually use mustard for any other type of ribs, but for these, I really want the flavor of the meat to speak for itself. Alright, now that you've taken and you've rubbed that olive oil all over the meat side of your beef ribs, you're going to go ahead and I use my regular old brisket rub. I've told you all before, but what's in it? But I'm going to tell you again. Alright? It's got salt, pepper, garlic, onion, some brown sugar, some paprika, a little bit of chili powder, not a whole lot. Just your basic brisket rub. And we're going to sprinkle that on all over the top on the meat side of these ribs. Now we're not going to overdo it. We're just going to give it a nice little coating. Not too much, just like that. I'll take a little bit, put it in my hand, and get these sides. Just like that. Alright, and that's all we're doing to these ribs. That's it, I promise you. Next, we're going to take them out to our smoker. I'm going to fire that smoker up. I'm going to get the internal temperature up around 200, 230, 240, between 230 and 240 degrees is what you want for the temperature inside your smoker. Then I'll come back and I'll talk to you after I got them on, and I'll tell you exactly how long we're smoking, when we wrap them up, how long we do that for, what we put inside our wrap. I'll tell you all that while they're smoking. So I will be back. Alright, y'all. To smoke these beef ribs, I'm going to put them on my smoker here. I'm going to get the internal temperature of the smoker up to about 200, 225, anywhere between 200 and 240 degrees. And we're going to put these ribs bone side down just straight on the smoker. We're going to go ahead and let them sit there and smoke at that 200 to 240 degree temperature. We're going to let them sit there and smoke for about 3 hours. After 3 hours has passed, we're going to come and check them for tenderness. They should be fairly tender and move around in your hands fairly easily at that point. If they are at the proper tenderness at that point in time, we're going to go ahead and wrap them up in foil. Now when we put them in foil, I'm just going to take a little bit of olive oil and just a little tiny bit of Worcestershire sauce, and I'm going to put that around the bottom of the foil. Not on the ribs, but around the bottom of the foil, so that when I wrap them up, they will kind of sit there and steam in that foil. We're going to let them sit there in the smoker for another 2 hours, 2.5 hours, while they're wrapped up. After that, they should be good to go. We're looking for an internal temperature of about 204 degrees inside the meat of these ribs. Now, these beef ribs, you want to cook them way past well done. The reason you're doing that is so that you can break down all of the fat and the connective tissue and all that inside those ribs. Anyway, I'll come back to you when it's time for that process to happen. Sorry about all the wind noise. I can't do much about the wind. Alright, thank y'all. Bye. Alright, these ribs have been on the smoker for about 3.5 hours. They're fairly tender. They've reached a nice internal temperature. Now all we're going to do is we're going to set them on a piece of foil. And we're going to wrap them up. And later on I will be using this barbecue sauce made by a friend of mine, Matt Voss. It's called Voss sauce, and I'm using the Firestarter brand. It's got a little heat, but not too much. I don't know if y'all can see that website or not, but it is www.voss-sauce.com. Y'all check it out. It's some of the best barbecue sauce I've ever had. Alright, anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Just like this, so we don't make a mess. We're going to fold it up like that. Fold the sides up. And then we're going to take, right here, I've got about 2 cups of beef broth, just a little bit of parsley, and just a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And all we're going to do is we're going to pour about half of this around our ribs. Not on top of them, just pour it around them. And this is going to allow these ribs to steam up and just get nice and juicy, and it's going to help that connective tissues and the fat and all that render off. So we're just going to wrap those up with that sauce in there just like that. And it's trying to escape. That's okay. Wrap it up tight. Get them nice and wrapped up. I'm going to take another piece of foil just to make sure we have it nice and sealed and we can get a good nice tight wrap on it. And I did spill some out, but that's okay. That's going to happen. And then we're just going to go take and put those back. We're going to take and put these ribs back on the smoker for about another 2.5, 3 hours. Alright, we are back. I have pulled my beef ribs out of the smoker. If you'll recall, after we wrapped them up, we wrapped them up with the beef broth, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and some parsley in and around the bottom of the ribs. They've been wrapped up with a constant heat between 250 and 275 for right at 3 hours, 2.5 hours. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cut open this top of the foil so they don't continue to cook in the foil. And then I'm going to put them in a cooler to rest for 30 to 45 minutes. I just wanted to show you all this when I cut these open. There's the first layer of foil cut. There's a second layer of foil cut. Man, look at that. Those are just absolutely beautiful. I will be back to you in 30 to 45 minutes after just letting these rest in the cooler. Very important that you let them rest for 30 to 45 minutes. Alright, we are back for the official, I like to call it, unveiling of the smoked beef ribs here at Roundhouse Ranch Barbecue. And I'm hungry, and these look and smell absolutely delicious, and it's filling my house up with an absolutely heavenly smell. So without further notice, alright, here we go. That is cutting through that like a hot knife through butter. Once you get past the crust, the bark of these ribs, that meat just absolutely falls apart. And there we go. Look at that. That is just falling off of the bone. See how it pulls apart just right off of the bone, just like that. And I can't wait. I'm going to go ahead and try some right now. Oh man. Oh wow. That is freaking delicious, y'all. I cannot wait to eat more of this. That is amazingly delicious. And if you look, see how much meat is on those? One of these ribs is like a meal for a full-grown man. And I cannot wait to try a little bit of this Voss sauce fire starter barbecue sauce on it. Again, I told you about it earlier in the video, but this is made by a good friend of mine, Matt Voss. Go find him on Facebook. Ask about his sauce. He's got sauce as mild as you want it or as hot as you want it. This particular style is called Fire Starter, and in my opinion, it is the best sauce I've ever had. His website is www.voss-soss.com. Y'all check him out. Alright, anyway, y'all, thank you for watching this video. This has been another great episode of Roundhouse Ranch Barbecue. If you like these beef ribs, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that share button. If there's anything y'all want to see me cook or barbecue, feel free to comment in the comments and let me know, and I'll see what I can do about getting it done for you. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all eat good tonight.